Welcome in for another edition of the Morning Espresso here on the SDH Network, brought to you by Oglethorpe University, Atlanta's premier undergraduate learning experience and soccer powerhouse. I'm Jason Longshore. Here's all the soccer news you need to know to get your day started on Thursday, March 6th. Some takeaways from the last 2 days of the UEFA Champions League. Arsenal demolition job on PSV. Thanks for coming. You guys will be done after one more match. Bayern with a 3-goal win at home over Leverkusen. Probably going to put them through. It's one of those nights where everything went wrong for Leverkusen. An early goal conceded. Goalkeeper makes a terrible mistake. A penalty with a VAR review that led to it. You had a defender in Nordi Mukiele sent off. Just awful things for Leverkusen. They're 3 goals down. They're probably done. They will be facing a Bayern without Manuel Neuer, who's going to miss that round of 16 second leg after injuring himself, celebrating that third goal at the Allianz Arena on Wednesday. Little frustrating there if you are Bayern Munich. Aston Villa and Inter, they went on the road. They got 2-goal wins. They should be fine going into the second legs. Liverpool, late winner in Paris to beat PSG. PSG was outstanding in this match, only shot on target for Liverpool. PSG had 27 or 28 shots, depending on which set of stats you're looking at. 9 saves for Alisson, and he said it was probably the performance of his life. PSG's got a great attack. It's not done in that one yet, but Liverpool with the big advantage going back to Anfield. Barcelona with the big advantage going back to Spain, a 1-0 win at Benfica with 10 men. Wojciech Szczesny came through in a big way. Remember, he was retired before an injury opened the door for him to come back and play at Barcelona. Now he's become really the main guy there, made some big saves in the Benfica loss to Barcelona, 1-0 win away for the Blaugrana. Real Madrid 2-1 win at home over Atleti on Tuesday. Back and forth game. Second leg will be absolutely amazing when Atleti hosts. And another interesting one, Dortmund was the biggest favorite going into the matches on Tuesday at home, and they only managed a 1-1 draw over Lille. Lille has been an under the radar team this Champions League. They did very well in the group stage, pulled off some big wins. I want to see if they can get this done in France in the second leg. I think they can. Let's go to ConcaChampions, the CONCACAF Champions Cup. LAFC, huge 3-0 win late Tuesday night over Columbus. First time they've beaten Columbus in a little while. Pumas with a 2-0 win at home over Alajuelense. Chivas and Herediano, narrow 1-0 wins at home, setting up really tense second legs. It was an own goal from Club America that gave Chivas the 1-0 win. That second leg in Mexico City will be quite interesting in the Super Clasico. And the LA Galaxy lost on the road in Costa Rica to Herediano. Can they turn their fortunes around in the second leg? We'll see what the Galaxy look like this weekend as well. I'm curious to see how heavily they rotate to get ready for that second leg against Herediano next week. Scoreless draw in Seattle between the Sounders and Cruz Azul, who rested quite a few people. That gives Cruz Azul a big advantage going into the second leg. 1-1 draws in Cincinnati against Tigres and in Vancouver against Monterrey. The MLS clubs not getting it done at home in these two. Both have to go to Mexico in the second leg. Going to be very difficult. And the away goal, which does matter in CONCACAF, the Mexican club has that tiebreaker. So Monterrey scored in the first half. Full credit to the Whitecaps for coming back, and they leveled it in the 86th minute. Bilal Halbouni with the goal for Vancouver. The return match, keep this in mind when it comes to the Vancouver-Monterrey series. The return match on Wednesday will be in Santos Laguna because the stadium in Monterrey is not available. Maybe that gives Vancouver a little bit of a lift, not having to go into the BBVA in Monterrey. We'll see. Cincinnati's going to need that lift as well, going also into Monterrey to face Tigres. Miami hosts Cavalier of Jamaica tonight. And Atlanta United fans will be watching that one very closely because if Miami has to go to Jamaica and battle it out in the second leg next Thursday, that could affect the match here in Atlanta on March 16th. We'll see if Lionel Messi plays tonight. That's not a guarantee. Javier Mascherano has been a little coy in the media with that, so stay tuned. Let's go to Copa Libertadores. We're still in the qualification phases, the preliminary phases. It's a very complicated process. We're into the third preliminary phase at this stage. Barcelona SC of Ecuador hosted Corinthians. Crazy flooding. Corinthians couldn't even use the visitors' locker room. They had to use the press room because the visitors' locker room was flooded. Field was super heavy. 3-0 win for Barcelona is maybe secondary to the amazing fashion that we saw on the touchline from Segundo Castillo, the manager of Barcelona, former player for the Ecuadorian national team. He took over at Barcelona officially last season. He was an interim before that. He wore a three-piece tuxedo, black pants, white jacket, and vest, black bow tie. And this isn't the first time that he has been styling on the touchline with Barcelona. He's kind of known for this. His team was styling as well. They didn't give up any shots on goal in the first half to Corinthians. And now Corinthians, one of the Brazilian heavyweights, they're in a really tight spot. So they've got to try to overturn a 3-goal deficit. And now they go into the semifinal of the Palestão, the state championship against Santos and Neymar on Sunday. If they get knocked out of that, and then they get knocked out of Copa Libertadores, financially, that's going to have a huge effect on their season. Copa Libertadores, you're talking about a lot of money coming in. Boca Juniors, that's one of the questions around Boca after not getting into the group stage. So, a lot of pressure on Corinthians in their next two games. A showdown with Neymar and Santos and trying to overturn a 3-0 deficit to Segundo Castillo and Barcelona SC. Paulo Fonseca, we talked about this, the kind of headbutt with a referee. Headbutt's not really fair. Contact with the referee is maybe the more fair way to say it. He got a 9-month ban for it. Maybe feels a little excessive. I don't know where the precedents are in the French league. It was the Ligue 1 disciplinary committee who announced this yesterday. 9 months for what it was felt excessive. It could get appealed. We'll see. Right now, he's suspended until November 30th. I think he's been in charge of 5 games at Lyon since he got there, and now he isn't going to be able to do another one until December of this year. Does he stay? I don't know. We'll see how the appeal process goes. He was out of line in the way he acted. He was also right in what he was complaining about because the penalty that was given was overturned by video assistant referee. That doesn't make it justified in doing what he did, but 9 months feels on the high side for what it was. I don't know. Again, I don't know the precedent, and that's going to be the more important thing here. All right, other news. Let's bounce into the U.S. soccer world and the FIFA soccer world and how they intersect. Let's start with the U.S. women's national team. Sophia Wilson, probably know her as Sophia Smith, announced on Instagram that she's pregnant, expecting her first child with husband and Arizona Cardinals wide receiver Michael Wilson. Expected to miss the 2025 NWSL season, which begins next week. And this is a year with the U.S. women's national team that you're seeing Emma Hayes rotate the group quite a bit. There's going to be friendlies throughout the year. You will have a qualification process for the 2027 World Cup that'll get started down the line. And Sophia Wilson should be back for all of that. But it does open the door for some other players to get more consistent looks with the U.S. women's national team. And we'll see how the Portland Thorns handle it as well. FIFA. First Club World Cup for women will take place in 2028. We talked about the initial one getting pushed back from 26. It's going to be an event every 4 years. It's going to feature 16 finalists, 3 winners of playoff series will get in, 5 direct slots for UEFA. CONCACAF, Africa, Asia, South America will get 2 direct slots. That feels really out of whack with the leagues in CONCACAF being better than some of the others around the world. I think they should get another slot. Maybe they'll have to go through these playoff series. We'll see. Now, the first Women's Champions Cup, which will be kind of like the old school Club World Cup, that's going to have the CONCACAF, UEFA, and CONMEBOL champions automatically through to the semifinals. That's going to feature the 6 winners of the Confederation Club competition. So the other 3 will have to go through playoffs to get to the semifinals. Those are going to be held in 26, 27, and 29, and essentially like 6-team competitions, Final Fours. Okay, so that's on the club side of the women's game. Let's go to the Women's World Cup. The bid process for 2031 and 2035 has been finalized, and it looks like it's all set up for the U.S. to be heavily involved in hosting in 2031 and Great Britain to host in 2035. So in 2031, only nations from Africa and CONCACAF are eligible to bid. U.S. Soccer has said they will do that. Cindy Parlow-Cone said in January that as soon as it's open, they're putting the bid on the table. The question is going to be, does Mexico still be involved in this? Because that was the plan initially for 27. We'll see if it is for 31. Now, on the other side, the football associations of England, Northern Ireland, Scotland, and Wales, they have expressed their intention to submit a joint bid for 2035. FIFA said that that tournament will be held in either Europe or Africa. So kind of set up the pathways here for the U.S. to host in 31 and Great Britain to host in 35. Those bids have to be submitted in the fourth quarter of 2025 this year. So coming up in a few months. Stay tuned. Okay, this is one that got a lot of people going around the world. A halftime show will happen at the World Cup final in 2026. FIFA president Gianni Infantino confirmed that, quote, a list of artists, okay, will perform during the 15-minute halftime break. How many artists are you going to have perform during 15 minutes, first off? Coldplay's Chris Martin and Phil Harvey will help advise FIFA on producing the show. You know, they headlined at Super Bowl 50 halftime alongside Beyonce and Bruno Mars. Maybe they're part of this. I don't know. There will be a Times Square takeover in New York during the weekend of the final as well. All the big things. Some people are getting really in their feelings about this. Some people don't really seem to care. I'm just wondering the logistics of it. It's only a 15-minute halftime. Are they going to extend it like they do with the Super Bowl? Are they not? Why don't you just do the pregame concert like they've been doing? I think that probably suits this competition a little bit better. I think extending the halftime would be a bad idea. I think that would be more detrimental than anything. But if you're going to wheel everything out and have 10 minutes of a halftime show and then try to wheel everything back out and get started on time, is that actually feasible? I don't know. I'd rather just see a big pregame concert and go there. But hey, going to chase the attention and maybe the dollar signs, maybe sell the sponsorship of it. I'm sure that factors into this. So just going to smile and nod. We'll see where that ends up. I'm very curious to see the list of artists that will perform. Dallas has been selected as the official hub for the 2026 World Cup International Broadcast Center. It'll be at the Kay Bailey Hutchinson Convention Center. Dallas was the International Broadcast Center for 1994 as well. That was held in Fair Park. 485,000 square feet at this facility. It'll be headquarters for about 2,000 representatives working in TV, radio, and new media operations. Club World Cup, that's this year. All these other things are coming up down the road. Club World Cup is this year, and FIFA announced that they will pay a total prize money amount of $1 billion in this new Club World Cup. That's a whole lot more than any other competition in the world. A whole lot more. The top teams could make over $100 million for being part of this. That's similar to what the UEFA Champions League winners receive. Now, it's spread out a little bit more in this competition than it is in the UEFA Champions League, for example. But just to compare, so 32 teams, the prize pot for this is bigger than the men's or the women's World Cup. Men's World Cup in 2022 was $440 million in terms of the prize purse. For the 2023 Women's World Cup, it was $110 million. Champions League estimated payout is $2.66 billion. So international competition, this is the biggest. Champions League is the biggest competition in the world, but this one will be in that ballpark. And I'm curious to see how that spread is. If the top teams are going to get $100 million, what about an Inter Miami or a Seattle Sounders? And what does that look like for them? Also in the Club World Cup, DAZN, who did a deal to air every game of the tournament worldwide, they sub-licensed games to TNT Sports. 24 matches will be on TNT, TBS, and True TV. Group and knockout stage games and the final will be on the Turner Sports or TNT Sports networks. So, going to be able to see those games. Also, going to be some in Spanish on Univision. So, and you're also going to be able to watch them on DAZN. So, all kinds of things happening in the soccer world. That's your catch up for Thursday. We will be at Atlanta United training today. We'll have a training ground dispatch on the SDH YouTube channel later this afternoon. Also, I will be in Gilmer tonight, Heritage at Gilmer. Had a good time going up to Gilmer last season. Looking forward to the return trip tonight. You can listen to the girls match and the boys match starting at 5:30 tonight. Click listen at soccerdownhere.net, or you can listen on our Mixler channel. And then tomorrow morning, I'll be back here for another Morning Espresso.